Your damn dark roast is here. You asked for it, we got a dark roast. And we partnered with Urinating Tree Dark Roast. Urinating Tree Dark Roast Coffee. Welcome to That's Good Sports. I am Brandon. The reason the 49ers lost the Super Bowl is because the best arm on their team belongs to head coach Kyle Shanahan. Perna. What the fuck? Yeah, that is Kyle Shanahan throwing a football through a pizza oven from a rooftop across the street. Yes, you heard me correctly. Was it just me, or was Joe Staley sort of hoping Kyle hit a kid with the ball?
Hit a kid.
Let's go.
Hit a kid. Let's go.
Now, Joe, of course, just retired, but there are a bunch of NFL free agents still available to be signed. Plus, the dumbest endorsement of all time, and the Cowboys snaked Hard Knocks away from a more deserving team.
What the fuck?
Again. That's good sports. If you're not gonna buy my coffee, Dark Roast, at least subscribe to this YouTube channel. Today's episode is sponsored by buyraycon.com/thatsgood, which will save you 15% when you use my link below. Now, summer has arrived, which means two of my favorite activities are back. Lathering my body in sunscreen and power walking with my Raycon earbuds in. My aggressive power walking style not only makes my neighbors nervous, it causes a lot of head bobbing and weaving. But with Raycon's noise isolating fit, my earbuds stay comfortably in place while I listen to the world's longest audiobooks. The wireless earbuds have up to 6 hours of playtime and come in a variety of colors to match all of your tank tops. Raycon has a 45-day free return policy, which is half the dang summer for you to test them out. 45 days of power walking with your Raycons will have you down at least one dress size. So click my link in the description or go to buyraycon.com/thatsgood to get 15% off Raycon earbuds, which are already half the price of other premium earhole speakers. All right, the Dallas Cowboys will be featured on HBO's Hard Knocks for a third fucking time. Now, I will save you a click at NFL.com. The four storylines to watch are the Cowboys defense, the Cowboys defense, the Cowboys defense, and the most important line, Dak's hairline. This is the 20th season of Hard Knocks, and it will premiere August 10th on HBO, and despite it being the Cowboys, this season should be much better than last year's pandemic version featuring 2 teams, but 0 playoff games. Preseason games. I meant preseason. Now we do get Dak coming back from that horrific injury, his new contract, rookie Micah Parsons, new defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, who probably won't get Tabasco in his eye like his predecessor, Mike Nolan.
Just had some Tabasco on my finger and it went in my eye. That wasn't good. Oh.
And finally, a close look at Mike McCarthy. Maybe we'll finally see what Aaron Rodgers saw. Another head coach who really didn't deserve his job. Speaking of Aaron, he did not opt out. Aaron Rodgers has not opted out, just like I said he probably wouldn't do. But he did a fantastic job promoting The Match, which is set to air tomorrow, July 6th on TNT. It's the golf game between Phil Mickelson and Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers and Bryson DeChambeau. Honestly, this is some of Aaron Rodgers' finest comedic work as he tried to build the perfect golfer.
Pick my feet. I believe they might be the biggest in the group, so for the stability. My ankles as well. I feel like they're proportionate to my foot-calf-knee ratio, where Phil has like some really bird-looking legs with kind of some bigger calves. I'm gonna give him just the calves because he's very sensitive about them. I don't want to measure the girth of the calf and get into weird controversy, so I'll give Phil the calves.
Last year, in a sports-deprived world, The Match was a godsend to watch. This year, I don't care.
Phil's got that little gobbler, so probably not Phil.
Something I do care about, Tom Brady is set to become a Subway spokesman. Which, next to Phillip Rivers becoming a spokesman for world population control, I can't think of a worse pairing. Now, I'm a little surprised anyone would want to be Subway's new spokesman after what happened with Jared Fogle. But then again, I would probably endorse ISIS, as long as the check cleared. I get why Subway would want Tom Brady to promote their food, but I don't understand why Tom would actually endorse it. He does not need the money, he does not eat it, he's never eaten it, and apparently he won't even hold the food in the commercial. That's not a joke. Tom has agreed to do the endorsements, but he won't even touch the food. This isn't AIDS in the 80s, Tom. You can't get heart disease just by sitting on a toilet seat in Subway. If you don't know, Tom Brady has a notoriously strict diet. His entire brand, the TB12 method, is based on eating healthy food. Plus, he sells healthy food at TB12.com, which seems like a conflict of interest. Like if I got paid a bunch of money to promote Folgers shit-ass coffee while still trying to sell you Benchwarmer Brew. Urinating Tree Dark Roast. The one thing I respect about Tom Brady is that he denies himself of worldly pleasures like processed meats, bread, and even tomatoes. You know, everything on a Subway sandwich. At least when I launch a dark coffee roast with Urinating Tree, I know he drinks and likes it. And that's right, we finally got our dark roast with Urinating Tree. This is his brand of coffee, dark, bitter, just like Urinating Tree himself. Again, check it out, BenchwarmerBrew.com. Okay, and the reason you probably clicked on the video, there are a handful of really solid free agents still available. Most NFL teams feel like their rosters are set at this point. During the offseason, teams have free agency, the draft, and then this time right after the draft where they sign a bunch of unrestricted college free agents or a few fringe veteran free agents to fill the holes that they couldn't fill during the draft. Then we enter veteran player purgatory. Every year around this time, there are a bunch of good aging players, good injured players, or younger underperforming players available via free agency. If you're an NFL free agent in July, you probably won't find a new team until the very end of the month when someone gets hurt during training camp, or in August if somebody gets hurt during preseason, and that's probably what most of these players are waiting for now. Right now at NFL Trade Rumors, there are 100 NFL free agents listed. Some names will surprise you, like Alshon Jeffrey and Trey Burton. And then there are names that don't surprise you at all, like Jason Peters, who is 39 years old, or Larry Fitzgerald at 38, who isn't going to sign with a different team, but is simply deciding whether or not he's going to retire. Or even Le'Veon Bell, the one player in the NFL dumb enough to play like crap and then blame it on one of the most likable coaches in the league. So these are the top 10 players available according to NFL Trade Rumors. Linebacker KJ Wright, edge rusher Justin Houston, lineman Rick Wagner, corner Richard Sherman, edge rusher Melvin Ingram, tackle Russell Okung, corner Brian Poole, guard David DeCastro, tackle Mitchell Schwartz, and Steven Nelson, corner, who is not even close to the best player available in my opinion. But what do you notice about all of those players? They're all at least 31 years old, and the two guys who are 28 are corners. One with injury concerns, and one I don't think is just any good. Again, there's over 100 players available. What I want to do is present the guys I think can make an impact if a team takes a chance on them. So let's start with the corners, because I believe you can't have enough of them in today's pass-happy NFL. I agree that former Jets corner Brian Poole would be a great corner on most NFL defenses as long as you keep him in the slot and he can make an immediate impact. The Raiders, the 49ers, the Seahawks, the Packers, they could all use him right now. He allowed just 472 receiving yards from the slot last season and has allowed just one touchdown over the last 2 seasons with the Jets. Imagine Brian Poole on a good defense. That's one pool I'd want to jump into if I were an NFL GM. The other slot corner I think is a steal. A lot lower on this list is Nickel Roby Coleman. He's just 29, and suffered the fatal blow that was playing for the Eagles in 2020. In the last 5 years, he's literally had one bad season. And like Alshon Jeffrey, I think his lack of a current team is because he looked bad on a horrible Eagles roster in 2020. I think one of the most talented players on this entire list is linebacker Quan Alexander. The dude is an athletic freak, but his career has been riddled with injuries, and he suffered another unfortunate one in 2020, this time his Achilles. I think the injury risk is too great for him, so I'd take the best linebacker available in KJ Wright. Now Wright is 32, but his presence as a coverage linebacker has not really dropped off. The Buccaneers showed how important that is to have, and Wright has been underrated in that department his entire career. You know who could use a solid coverage linebacker? The Packers. And I'm sure Matt LaFleur will never make KJ feel uncomfortable the way old Pete Carroll did. Now, a guy coming off an early season injury, which means he's had plenty of time to recover, is defensive lineman Jarrell Casey. He tore his biceps after playing in just 3 games for the Broncos last year, and we were very excited about him here in Denver. And in those 3 games, he knocked down 3 passes and is a great leader to have on the defensive line. The team that could most use his services, the guys who traded him for pennies, the Tennessee Titans. But between Bud Dupree coming off an ACL injury and their top draft pick, Caleb Farley, with his back concerns, I think Casey's actually the safest bet if Tennessee took a chance on him. Autry and Simmons and Casey, that's a nice mix of guys to rotate on the line. The Bengals are the team he's been rumored to the most, but I would put him on the Bills' defensive line. I think he would provide an instant upgrade to that unit, maybe make it a more stout, dominant presence there, help Ed Oliver live up to his potential possibly. Speaking of Ed Oliver, if his nickname isn't Mr. Ed, just fucking shoot me, because that's perfect. The best tackle available is Mitchell Schwartz, but the assumption is he will retire due to ongoing back issues. David DeCastro shot up this list after the Steelers cut him, but they cut him due to ankle injury concerns. Russell Okung played in 6 games in 2019, just 7 in 2020, so I would go with tackle Rick Wagner, who protected Aaron Rodgers' right side most of the season. Sure, he wasn't great against the Bucs' defensive line, but who was last year? He's the only guy on the line in the top 10 without an injury concern. And next to Forrest Lamp, no lineman poses as eloquently as Wagner. Of the top 3 edge rushers available, Melvin Ingram, Justin Houston, and Olivier Vernon, I think I'm taking a chance on Melvin Ingram, unless I'm a contender who can wait for Vernon to recover from his Achilles injury. I love Justin Houston, and I think he's still underrated, but he's 100% a pass rush specialist. Vernon and Ingram are more complete edge players who can actually drop into coverage. I think Ingram is the most talented, but he's now 32, and like almost every player on this list, missed time last season with an injury. It was his first season without recording a sack, and he played in just 361 snaps. I think Ingram needs to go to a good defense, and he might thrive in a place like Pittsburgh. He visited with Miami in May, but has yet to sign. I actually like him with the Dolphins as well. But Olivier Vernon's interesting to me. He had a hell of a season in Cleveland before getting hurt. 9 sacks last year with 51 total pressures, which was just 5 fewer than Myles Garrett. Now Vernon has been rumored to the Chargers. We're trying to replace Melvin Ingram, the Bills, and the Seahawks. Now the Browns opted to sign Jadeveon Clowney over Vernon. Their roster is stacked now. However, if I am Cleveland, I overpay Vernon just a little bit to come back for 1 more year. He'll have ample time to heal since you don't have to rush him back into the lineup. And the Browns currently have the 5th most cap space, so they can afford to do it. Trust me, no team has ever regretted having too many players who can get to the QB, especially one that might play the Chiefs in the postseason. So sure, you take a 1-year deal for Jadeveon Clowney, do the same with Vernon, stack that defensive line, and maybe you get to the Super Bowl, Cleveland. Oh, thanks for watching another episode of That's Good Sports. No, seriously, thank you for watching this show in July. Otherwise, I might starve during the summertime.